she has ever seen about a Black family. Went on to talk about the fact that it's going to be a than Lady O.
Wow, thanks, Uri. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
thanks, Oprah. That's pretty high praise. I agree, actually. I think this movie is just incredible. So I feel really.
Incredible true story of two sports icons. You play Venus's coach, Paul. Talk to me a little bit about stepping into his shoes. How you prepared for the role?
Yeah, so I was asked to do, this wonderful character of Paul Cohen, who, as you just said, was Venus's first professional coach, and sort of by extension, Serena's, because what happened was they hired Paul when the girls were young, and he was coaching Venus, and then Richard would tape the sessions and go home, and Oracene, their mom, would then coach Serena as a with Paul's tape. So it was sort of both of them, but really his focus was Venus. And what I did, I started playing tennis every day because I was a little rusty, and the film provided me with incredible coaches. But I reached out to the real Paul Cohen, who lives in San Francisco, and I just found his email and wrote him and said, I'd love to talk to you. And he was incredibly open and kind and informative, and really gave me a window into his relationship with Richard and with Venus and the family as a whole, and his style of coaching. And it was fascinating. It's one of the things that's great when you play a real life character and can actually interact with the real person. He was really specific, and it was just really helpful. It was a gift.
Yeah. Oftentimes when I'm interviewing someone who's playing a real life character and that person is still alive, it can be really great as a source or a resource. It can also come with more pressure. Did you feel
Hmm.
that pressure, or was Paul pretty just sort of warm and open from the beginning and kind of let you do your thing with your portrayal of him?
Yeah, no, I didn't feel pressure. I mean, I felt after our first conversation, um, I guess my instincts about what I wanted to do with the character were in line with who Paul really is. A very interesting relationship with Richard. So I don't know. I don't know. I know now he's seen the film and he's very, very happy. So that's good. But he might have been very nervous about it
Yeah.
himself. But
Okay.
but no, it was good for me. I knew once we talked, I was like, oh yeah, this will work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Venus and Serena, obviously on board as executive producers. What was it like teaming up with them? And did anything surprise you about what you learned about these women as you dove into telling their story via the movie?
Gift to have the Williams family, Venus and Serena, and really the whole family being behind this project, because you feel uh, this kind of support, really, because you got to get it right if you're telling this story of such icons, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't really know the story. I knew that their father had coached them. Obviously, I'm a tennis fan, so I've sort of, they are the greatest of the great, and I knew they were trailblazers. But what this story does is it gives you a window in such an intimate way into this family,
Mhm.
and you see, we tend to idealize icons like them and think of them as sort of on Mount Olympus, and this story really humanizes them, and you see what they went through and how they got to where they did, and it really is about family and their
Yeah.
relationship with their father and their mother and their sisters, and the whole, it was a family project, and it was not emotionally honest film that you just can't believe.
So I'm playing the title character, Serena and Venus's father. What was it like working with Smith on set?
Yeah, Will is just he's such an incredibly generous soul. He makes everyone around him feel seen and valued, uh, and he's just this. He's a blast to work with, and in this character, you know, uh, Will's just extraordinary. The work that he puts down is amazing, and so from our very first rehearsal, we're all sort of feeling our way, and then all of a sudden, he goes from being fun-loving Will to just a switch is flipped. You're witnessing that caliber of work.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I was excited across the board in this film. Ingenue Ellis, who plays Oracene, his wife, is just, I've always loved Ingenue, and I've worked with her, and I've known she's a great actress, but this role is,
Yeah.
she just kills it.
Yeah. I love hearing that, especially sort of Will immediately being able to transform from the very gracious and generous talent that we all know and love into this character, King Richard. I also read that he gave bonuses, gifts to all of the talent when you guys had to pivot. How generous is Will Smith? I mean, that really speaks to his heart, right?
I've been doing this for over 30 years. I have never worked with anyone as generous as Will. I mean, what you said is true. When this movie, when Warner Brothers decided not to release it, to put it in streaming, there was a lot of controversy, as people know, and we just got a call from Will saying, I'm gonna make this right." I've never experienced it. I was floored. I just couldn't believe it.
That's
That
awesome.
says everything about who he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Lastly, you talked about the fact that you've been a tennis fan, you've played, you had to kind of shake the rust off. Did you
Hmm.
try to finesse a couple of lessons from Serena or Venus? Did you try to get them just to say, the Williams sisters helped me shake the rust off?
I was so starstruck when I met Venus. I literally, words couldn't come out of my mouth. So yeah, Sanaya, who plays Venus, we
Yeah.
were on set one day, 14 or whatever she is, was holding. She said, "I want you to come meet Mr. Tony," and she drags Venus over to me, and I was sitting in a chair, and she's like, "Mr. Tony, this is, I wanted you to," and I look, and there's this goddess
Yeah.
before me, and I was trying to just hold it together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know I forgot to ask her if she would give me a tennis lesson.
The sequel, part two. But in the meantime, congratulations on the role and thank you for your time, Tony.
Yeah, thanks.